What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep, screw, rep.
Yeah!
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Oh, kick out! Unbelievable!
I'm too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King, you savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for... It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling game? Stop immediately. Don't do it. Just stop. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. app.wrestlerunstoppable.com, where you can create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation, all included, totally free. Wrestler Unstoppable for Facebook users right now. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shout-outs like my good buddy John down in Texas, then go pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Don't forget we got loyalty rewards. If you're a $15 a month contributor, you get to co-host a show with me. $7.50 a month, I'll enter you into a drawing to do the same. And hopefully we get some of you guys doing some Patreon exclusive content with me, just like my buddy John down in Texas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you want us to touch on in a future episode, you got to call me and let me know. I can't read mine, so you got to give me a shout at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and we will get to those questions, comments, and concerns or whatnot in a future episode. Going to get into today's news and rumors. Eventually, we'll get into a Raw review. Right now, we're going to start off with Brock Lesnar doing an interview with Spittin' Chicklets, which is a hockey podcast, but Brock Lesnar was being interviewed. And one of the interesting things he said is he went back to work so he could feed his kids, is what he said. He said, you guys see my grocery bill? So, yeah, no, I left the company years ago. I'm grateful that I'm back for a short time here. I'm really grateful for all the opportunities I've had in my life. There was no real clarification about what he meant. There's been conversation about him retiring in Minnesota this year, SummerSlam. There's been other conversations about what his long-term plans are. I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait and see. I think Brock Lesnar kind of does what Brock Lesnar wants to do. He could leave. He could come back. He could go into hiatus again. If you look at all the other stars out there like Matt Hardy, Rikishi, people like that have been talking about how Obafemi needs to win his match between the two of them at WrestleMania. I don't necessarily disagree with that because Obafemi is the future of the company, and Brock, at best, is going to be a part-timer where Oba could be there every single week. So I would have no problem with Oba winning unless Brock is retiring. Then I think we have to have something a little different at Mania because you got to keep Brock strong if indeed you're going to go with the Gunther retiring Brock at SummerSlam angle. At the same time, I really don't want to see a heel versus heel at SummerSlam, so I don't know what you do with that. So I don't know how that might play into the planning and long-term booking of things and where people, all the pieces may fall. But definitely an interesting statement. It's sounding like he came back. I love the I came back to feed my kids, like the guy's hurting for cash to begin with. Has that massive ranch in Canada. He's on Bearded Butchers all the time. This guy has got this guy knows how to take care of his money, and he's got quite a bit of a nest egg at this point. But love that he came back. I really do. I mean, people can have their opinions about his personal life and whatnot. That's not mine. I'm not here to judge that kind of stuff. I think the guy is a supreme talent. Always has been. The full card has now been announced for the MVP boxing, or not boxing, MVP mixed martial arts show coming to Netflix. The Ronda Rousey Gina Carano pay-per-view, and there's talent on this card. You've got people like former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos will be there. The Karate Combat heavyweight champion is going to be there. KSW lightweight champion will be there. There's all sorts of names popping up for this. There was conversation about other potential UFC talent that were approached to possibly work the show. I know Misvidal was saying that he was approached, and it didn't happen because of his commitments to UFC. This card, though, looks like it's going to be pretty solid, pretty stacked. Francis Ngannou, of course, is going to be returning to the cage. So Nate Diaz is going to be fighting. So there is a lot of talent going to be at this show. And it makes it so, look, I get it. I still want to see the Rousey-Carano thing, but I think there's more to the show for the more mainstream mixed martial arts fans. And I think that's a great thing. And the promotion so far has been fantastic. Even Ronda Rousey showing up in AEW. And let's make it very clear. People have been debating this since it happened, but according to Pro Wrestling Insider Elite, Ronda Rousey's appearance at AEW Revolution was just a one-off. She was there to support her friend Marina Shafir, and kind of promote the fight against Carano at the same time. It certainly got mentioned. The stars aligned. She lives right in the area to where they were having the show, so it made a lot of sense. But they were not. There was conversation about Rousey versus Toni Storm. Well, now Toni Storm is out until probably 2027. And with that being the case, I guess theoretically there's a chance that when Ronda does that, she could always come back and face Toni Storm later, whenever Toni Storm is ready to come back. Perhaps this leads to something down the pike. It sounds like she has a fantastic relationship with Tony Khan, so I could easily see this being turned into something further down the line. I think right now her focus can be, she's going to be laser focused on Gina Carano, and once she gets past that event, no matter how it goes down, I guess that time is when we'll see where we're going to go from there. Dave Meltzer with a big report today talking about WWE and Tom Brady are negotiating for a WrestleMania appearance. I don't know what that appearance would be. I would imagine to be some kind of physicality involved. If I had to hypothesize, I would imagine Brady would be in, for lack of better terms, a managerial role of some kind and possibly get physically involved at the end of a match or something like that. I can't imagine Tom Brady actually having a full-blown match. Certainly not after the comments he's made on social media, making fun of professional wrestling, talking about how much he doesn't respect pro wrestling and all that kind of stuff and how they're not real athletes and whatnot. So I love that they're trying to get some mainstream draw by having somebody like him on the card, but definitely I don't see him doing much more than a glorified, couple, maybe throwing a punch or a clothesline or something and getting out of there. I would love to see him take a bump. Don't like the guy at all, but whatever. He is the GOAT, and I can't even argue that at this point. Let's get into some Raw conversation. Let's talk about some of the decent stuff. Like, I love the Femi Brock Lesnar opening the show. Femi getting the better of Brock again. Usually, though, when somebody gets the better of somebody a couple times in a row, at some point that means the other guy is going to go over, which I'm not. Again, depending on what we're doing at SummerSlam, I don't know how I feel about Brock going over or taking the fall. I really don't know. I think we're going to have to wait and see where they let the plans go. After that, the Division Uso match for me was a total waste. The word is that the Usos are throwing out the first pitch at an opening night of baseball, and so WWE didn't want to take the tag team championship off them until after that. That's why they did this angle to set up the tag team championship match for next week, which if that's the case, that's fine. But it just makes the match look so stupid to have the kind of finish that they had with the brass knuckles and Jey Uso and all that. You don't do that when there's no championship on the line. You should have had a championship match where he did the exact same thing and got disqualified, thereby giving them another match the following week. I think that would have made a lot more sense. Having a non-title match, you don't need to worry about the brass knucks. It's kind of ludicrous. I don't think it helped further the storyline whatsoever. The interaction with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, not thrilled. I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of people really enjoy the fact that these two are going to get it on again at WrestleMania, and I have no problem with that. My issue is there needs to be a stipulation on this match. So far, no stipulation matches really announced other than championships being on the line. This should have been an I Quit match or a submission match of some kind, and we haven't heard that yet. And I hope that we get that at some point. It still could. We're still a couple weeks away. But I think right now they got to really flesh out this card, and if they don't start talking about these things, there's no way they're going to be able to put together the storylines fast enough. Loving the stuff Javon Evans is doing with Kofi Kingston. Kofi being very respectful. The match against Grayson Waller was, it is what it is. I haven't seen Javon Evans really have a bad match. What I have seen is a lot of high risks that I don't know are necessarily always worth the risk that he's going for, if that makes any sense. I think sometimes he doesn't need to do as much as he does to accomplish the same goal, and I'm a little worried what he's going to do to himself if he hits wrong, lands wrong, gets hurt or whatnot, and what that's going to do is long-term viability as a premium WWE superstar for the next 15 to 20 years if he's doing all these bumps and jumps and spins and kicks and everything. I like to see them on occasion, but they shouldn't be on every show, and I feel like that's all we get from him anymore is all these high spots, especially from a company that likes to they've had wrestlers in the past, like back when Braun Strowman was making fun of like all these people for being flippy, wrestlers and whatnot. And now WWE's got somebody who basically that's pretty much most of what he does. Not a big fan of that being your exclusive moveset. I think they need to diversify his moveset a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see how things play out. The part with Paul Heyman calling out Seth Rollins, it was all right. I don't know why they had multiple masked men come out. They never really interacted anywhere, and then Seth was just on a table. But I'm not going to lie to you. I hated everything about the restraining order getting arrested nonsense. This was stupid. If you're trying to keep him off TV for a little while because he's not cleared or Braun Breaker is not necessarily cleared yet, do it another way. This was dumb. There's no way in heaven's no way that this would go down like this in real life. So it makes it look cartoonish with enough people already talking about how, I don't want to say, I'll use the word predetermined professional wrestling is. This made it look less authentic. How's that? I would have preferred not to see that. I think that was a waste of a moment. I think if you wanted to have him rough up Paul Heyman, just have him do it. If Braun is not ready to come back, I don't know what you're going to do. You're running out of time. At some point, you got to make a decision here. I would have been more in favor of him being the one to face Brock Lesnar and have Obafemi do something more substantial, but whatever. It is what it is. The Kabuki Warriors Bayley Lyra Valkyria match, it was okay. There was nothing in it that really upset me. There was nothing in it that really impressed me either. I hate Kairi Sane taking another pinfall loss. I do love the stuff in the back where she's clearly wanting to break free but keeps resisting. I thought the interview after the match was complete trash. I feel like somebody set that up for it to just crash and burn. Next week, we'll get the tag team match between they and the Irresistible Forces, meaning Bayley and Valkyria, for picking up the win. But heading into Mania, no championships are changing hands this close. It's just not going to happen. I don't know why iShow Speed was there. I guess just to give Danhausen one more person to curse, but whatever. I suppose that fits the bill. Then we find out we're going to get Raquel Rodriguez and Io Sky next week. Again, that match has been done to death, so nothing exciting there. And then we get the match where, Liv Morgan is walking Dominic to the ring, and there's a big brawl breaks out when Stephanie Vaquer attacks. What I found odd about this is the whole time Liv Morgan is attacking Stephanie Vaquer, nobody rushes in at all. Everybody just stays in their seats and watches her beat the snot out of Stephanie Vaquer. As soon as Stephanie starts to get her comeback, everybody rushes in and pulls them apart. Like, it's just, again, the nonsensical approach to how they book this stuff I'm not a fan of. The match itself, Penta and Dom Mysterio, I actually really enjoyed. I do like the way they integrated Finn Balor coming back. I love that they had the original Finn Balor music. That was awesome. I, for one, think it's one of the best entrance themes ever in WWE. I hope we see the Demon character at Mania against Dominic Mysterio. I actually thought they might give the belt back to Dom tonight so it could be for the championship at Mania. If you want, put some prestige on the AAA championship and have him defend that at Mania. That'd be kind of cool. But either way, I'm looking forward to what is obviously going to be a WrestleMania match. But it's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. I'm not sure what you do with Penta, though. I mean, maybe a multi-person match for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm fine with that if that's what you want to do. Who's going to be in that match, though? You know what I mean? There's so many people to choose from. Maybe that's where you slip an LA Knight in. I don't want to see Gunther in something like that if Rey Mysterio is not coming back, because we still don't have any plan for him either. I did think it was interesting that later on, as a matter of fact, the next major section, the CM Punk Roman Reigns part, Punk did bring up Gunther's name. I guess that's an interesting way to keep his name out there for people to think about. Now, in this segment, Punk came across as very brash and cocky, and I guess that fits. Jey Uso is coming across like a primetime star right now in a way he hasn't really since really right before he lost the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns, I kind of like the fact that they were playing up the whole Jey Uso telling Roman to go attack CM Punk. I kind of like that. It leads to potentially, but you got to look ahead. Roman's going to face Punk. I don't know what's going to happen with that, because if you don't remember, there was conversation that Roman Reigns' contract expires in May, and he had not yet signed a contract extension because there is some ambitions to go into Hollywood, and he can't be doing this forever, certainly with his health conditions that he's constantly dealing with. So if Roman is leaving, I expect Punk to win. If Roman is staying, I expect Roman to potentially win, but I think you could see where Jimmy and Jay, I feel like, are going to lose the tag team championship next week. They're going to see a heel Jay versus a babyface Jimmy at Mania to make up for that atrocity that was a couple years ago when they wrestled at Mania, which was terrible. Hopefully this one will be better. And I think coming out of Mania, you could very easily see a heel Jey Uso at some point take on Roman Reigns. Remember, they did that way back in the day, and that's kind of what led to main event Jey Uso's character being created. I would love to see them roll that back and do that again now with the roles kind of reversed. Not that I want to see Roman necessarily be a hardcore face, but I'd like to see that mean streak in Jey Uso to see if he can really carry the ball and go back to that level. And I actually think he should beat Roman. I really do if they do that. But I'm still not sure what's going on with that. Until we get confirmation that Roman has a new contract, I don't know that we know exactly what's going to happen with that. If Roman has a new contract, I think he wins. If he doesn't, I think he loses. I think no matter what happens, Jay needs to come out looking like a bigger star than he is going into all this. Him telling Roman to smash him and whatnot was wonderful. I actually really enjoyed that part. So all in all, Raw was not a bad show. Wasn't the best show. Could have been better, could have been worse. But definitely furthered some storylines, worthless stuff in other parts of the show. So it really is like a 50-50 show for me, So we'll have to wait and see if they do better at SmackDown. And the last thing tonight, congratulations posthumously to the incredibly talented Sid Udy, known to the wrestling world as Psycho Sid or Sid Vicious or Sid Justice. Pick your way to refer to him. He has been announced as the latest inductee, a legacy induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. And for me, this is something that in a lot of ways is long overdue. I still hope we get more people added, but this guy has held the world championship in WWE, WCW. He's been United States champion. He's held enough gold. He's done enough. He's headlined enough pay-per-views, headlining Mania with The Undertaker, things like that, where he really deserved to be in there. I really wish he would have gotten in while he was still with us. Unfortunately, he did pass away and was not able to do so. I mean, think about it. He main evented with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. Somebody hit me with a crazy stat the other day. Think about this. The last time Hulk Hogan successfully defended a championship at WrestleMania was WrestleMania 3 against Andre the Giant. And I didn't know if that was accurate or not, but if you thought about it, WrestleMania 4 was the tournament. He didn't win the tournament. 5 was winning a title. 6 was losing the title. 7 was winning a title. 8 was not a title match. It was against Sid. 9 was a tag team match that they I don't know if you call that a loss or win, what that was, but they didn't win the championship and they didn't defend one. He won the title at the end of the night against Yokozuna, and that's schmoz nonsense. And he was gone for 10 and there forward until we got much, much later, and he wasn't champion at any point. So, yeah, WrestleMania 3 was the last time Hulk Hogan defended a championship, successfully defended the championship at WrestleMania. That's interesting. Like, again, successfully defended. That's the key words. So, but yeah, one of those matches he had at Mania in a main event was with Sid Justice at the time. And I thought I really was a fan of his. That horrible leg break, coming back, doing the spot with Heath Slater when he was talking trash about all the legends, all of it. I've been a Psycho Sid fan for a very long time. Look, there's some backstage stuff that happened from here and there. He and Arn Anderson had their little scissor incident, things like that. Rumors that he would take time off to play softball, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not here to judge that. When he was in the ring, I thought he was phenomenal. 2024, he passed away from battling cancer at the age of 63, and it was a loss for the wrestling industry. I really wish he could have gone in before he passed, but congratulations to him now for finally getting his just due. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. Run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, to Suno for creating the music and sound effects we use in the show. Today's show is sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and picking up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college or university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us today. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Wrestling Podcast.